So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. My opening statement was from the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11, and I'll repeat it again for you. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. This broadcast was actually created for the purpose of developing spiritual warriors. Now, the term spiritual warrior is used in Tibetan Buddhism to identify one who combats the universal enemy. And that enemy is self-ignorance, the ultimate source of suffering according to the Buddhist philosophy. Now, another definition of spiritual warrior is a heroic being with a brave mind and ethical impulse. Different from other paths which focus on individual salvation, the spiritual warrior's only complete and right practice is that of compassionately helping others with wisdom in order to liberate them. The term is also used generically in esoteric, in self-development, esotericism. It's often meant to used in one who is compassionate and sorry, I had a blank there. Oh, compassionate and with a willing, enlightened heart. Spiritual warrior. The reason I've selected that term and that purpose is that anyone who can take a step back and see what's going on in this world will realize that we are in the middle of spiritual warfare, that we are looking at, on the one side of this battle, we're looking at those who seek to exploit and dominate, who seek to diminish or even eliminate any reference to the divine, any adherence to the divine. On the other hand, what do they say that God does not exist. God does not exist. On the other hand, there are those of us who seek to be in touch with the divine, who move forward in a space of helping others, of being kind and loving, and we insist that God exists, infinite, whatever you want to call it, infinite intelligence, universal consciousness, God. They're all there. They are there for the purpose of giving us a better world, for giving us a world of harmony and peace, rather than a world of greed, avarice, lust, ego. So, spiritual warriors, spiritual warriors. Spiritual warriors are what I hope to help develop in this world to bring about transformation, because we definitely need transformation here in this world. We are in a lot of pain, we're in a lot of anger, and that needs to be dissipated and changed. And most of it is out of ignorance, and ignorance begets fear, and fear begets violence and cruelty. That's why I'm always invoking you to join with others of like mind, so that your combined powers will bring about dramatic change, not only in yourselves, but in those who are around you, because it's contagious. So being a spiritual warrior can carry you through the difficult task of freeing yourself from your own fears, your own doubts and small-mindedness, from your own limiting beliefs. Becoming a spiritual warrior puts you in service to the world as pathfinders, path makers, leaders, will help shift the consciousness of this planet. That is what needs to happen. The consciousness of this planet needs to be shifted. The consciousness of this planet needs to be elevated, elevated with love. And those who can bring about this elevation, I am calling spiritual warriors. So many of us are needed, but it's hard. I must admit that it's hard. So what are we looking for in the expression of beings? You must have an expanded awareness, not only knowing what's going on around you, but having a sense of what is happening beneath the surface. Recognize that you're surrounded by darkness, but that you are a center of light. And if you remain as a center of light, then others will be drawn to you. So be aware of that. The lack of awareness brings on ignorance. So paying attention to yourself, your thoughts, your speech, your actions, your beliefs, you deprive ignorance of that fertile field in which you can take root. Number two, courage. Bruce Lee said, Lee said, do not pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. We are faced with so much adversity as we go through life. No matter what level, we are faced with so much adversity. Some tend to take it to heart and cry, why me? They whine, and others get angry about it and want to take it out on others around them and get revenge on life, as it will. Others just go into a state of not being there. But the spiritual warrior must know that the inner strength, the inner connection with infinite intelligence enables them to overcome adversity and doubt and fear. Even though you may be afraid, moving forward in spite of the fear is the trait of a spiritual warrior. You feel the fear, but you keep going anyway. Because deep down inside you know that God is all there is. Deep down inside you know that the strength and love of God is what's going to keep us going. The next attribute is discipline. The spiritual warrior possesses discipline. Discipline is the ability to restrain yourself, to control your impulses, your desires, and your emotions in order to elevate yourself. It doesn't that discipline doesn't come from outside authority. Rather, it's something that is within yourself. It is something that you develop within yourself. You make difficult choices. You know that there's a saying, I do what others will not so that I can live as others cannot in the future. So discipline means staying on the path. The spiritual warrior knows there are obstacles. But self-discipline keeps you from betraying yourself. Yeah, betraying yourself. Restlessness is another one. Restlessness is another key attribute. Being restless refers not to being harsh or inflexible. It actually means being persistent. It moves you to be relentless, meaning that you are not going to stop moving forward in what it is you're doing. You are not going to succumb to the temptations of being comfortable. Comfortable, yeah, that's a good word. Comfortable, overly comfortable in the temptations that people usually yield to, the yielding to being self-important, or the yielding to being right, the obsession with being right. I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. Uh, those are things that you must relentlessly overcome because they're so insidiously there all the time, just waiting for an opening. And it's something you just have to pay attention to because it's waiting for you. I know it's very easy to let your ego get away with you, or to, if you're being right. As you recall the story I told you about the teacher who was so righteous, so right, that he felt one day he would walk on water, uh, only to have a young a peasant come along running across the water, uh, who was not right according to the standard criteria of what was right and wrong, uh, of learning, of being achievement. He just was. He was pure. So we're going for the purity of being as a spiritual warrior, the purity of being rather than the structured constructions, the constructs of being something that's acceptable to those who are in power and who see you as being good and acceptable as opposed to being radical and dangerous. Cunning. The spiritual warrior is also cunning because you need to recognize that, as I was saying before, the temptation is there. And so it's very easy to slip into a state of being overly congratulatory, a state of being dumb, stupid, self-congratulatory. So being cunning is being able to see through the curtain that you put over yourself, that false sense of self. Being cunning is being able to see through the veil that you have created through conditioned behavior, which allows you to correct your course. You can slip into the self-importance area, but being able to see it is key. See it and move out of it. Patience. Patience is another one. You know, one of the things we're facing nowadays is we're self-quarantined. We're locked up behind closed doors. We've got social distancing. All the things we used to do are no longer being done. We're actually experiencing some level of grief as we look at our world today. Uh, there has been a lot of loss. So we're grieving the loss of our last life, a life that existed no more than a few months ago, and now it's gone. And that's major loss when you think about it. And so we're grieving that. Uh, you know, the five steps of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Um, so we're going through these stages of grief, and I see so much anger out there. Angry people are angry because they've lost so much. They've lost jobs. They're losing financial status. They're losing their freedom and ability to move about freely and in the ways that they were used to being. All of a sudden, you can't get into a store unless you're wearing a mask. So it's infuriating. And that infuriation, that anger is all part of the grieving process. And then there's that turning that anger in on ourselves, of being in a state of depression because of it. There's to some extent we feel guilty about what's happening. Why me? Why is this happening to me? What have I done to deserve this? And that can lead to a certain level of depression and sadness. That depression is anger turned inward. So we've got a lot to deal with emotionally based on the very fact that we are in the middle of this COVID crisis, this financial crisis. Um, and I've got to take a COVID test next week because of some heart procedure I have to go through, and they won't operate on me unless I've passed the COVID test. Um, and there's a certain amount of trepidation having to do with taking the COVID test. What if I got it, don't know it? Then I'll be quarantined. I won't be able to get the procedure. I won't be able to do this. I won't be able to do that. So we've got a lot to deal with. Patience, however, as a spiritual warrior, patience is the ability to see the big picture and know that uh, it's not all going to happen at once, that the universe is in charge, that spirit is in charge, that infinite intelligence is in charge. And therefore, some good is going to come out of this. We just need to be patient to allow things to unfold. It is the unfolding that we are in now, the unfolding phase where we've been shut down and they tried to open up and they couldn't, and they opened up and they couldn't. But it will eventually open up. Things will eventually evolve to the point where we'll be experiencing something entirely different than what we had before. And the key to patience is waiting and watching with awareness to see what is going on and having the discipline not to leap forward suddenly or too soon, but to be able to see the opportunities that come to you, that are being exposed to you. And you can only see them if you're sitting back in patience and awareness and cunning to see where the world is going and for you to be there. And then you're being there with love, being there with kindness, being there with wisdom. Then you begin to see that you, as a spiritual warrior, are of great value to this world. So stay calm, stay alert, don't act needy, don't push the demand. The universe is working at whatever it is. And so as you recognize the bigger picture that is unfolding before us, you will know through your patience what action is going to be appropriate to take at the right time, in the right way, because you will be guided. You will be guided by universal intelligence. And you'll be able to move back into the power of a spiritual warrior who is here to help transform the world with love and peace. Transform the world with love and peace. Another attribute of spiritual warrior is sweetness. Sweetness. Sweetness is something that's associated with weakness and sentimentality, but we know, we the spiritual warriors know, that by holding yourself to the highest standards, by refraining from anything that could be construed as cruel or hurtful, then we are stronger. Those who are cruel and hurtful are the weak ones. Compassion and tolerance is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. Those are the words of the Dalai Lama. Compassion and tolerance are not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. It's easy to be hurtful. It's easy to be mean. Kindness, compassion, and sweetness is tough, especially in highly tense situations. It requires strength. It requires understanding. It requires being centered and strong and calm. Peaceful warriors, spiritual warriors are able to do that. And finally, there's love. Love is the key. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Infinite intelligence loves us into life. I remember a poem where Earth's gravity is love. It holds you dear and close. Earth's gravity is love. Infinite intelligence is love. Those who do not love, those who are cruel and violent, are not in love. They are outside of love. They are in pain, and they are inflicting that pain upon others. But love can change them. Love will change them eventually. But that's not our problem. Our problem is that we need to be strong. We need to be the light so that those in the darkness who are seeking the light will find us and join us and elevate their vibrations to be with us so that we can help transform the world. We are the children of God. God is all that is. We are the children of infinite intelligence. We are the children of universal consciousness. We are individualized expressions of the Most High God. So, spiritual warrior, that's what I'm seeking to build here. Spiritual warrior, that's what we're seeking to be. And it's a step-by-step process that is not undertaken lightly, and it is not achieved easily. But it can be achieved. We can achieve it by going in self-delusion, fear, ignorance, things that create suffering in our lives. We know that there's more. We know that there's something deeper. We know that love is there, and we can connect with love because we know that love is within us. By knowing that love is within us and connecting with the love that is within us, we can expand our consciousness and become a beacon of love and light. One of our primary references in this discussion was a man named Adam Brady, who is a Buddhist educator. Becoming a spiritual warrior, that's what my purpose is, to help others become spiritual warriors. It's simple, but it's not easy. Yes. So, one of the keys of being a spiritual warrior is, which is why I started off with the verse from Isaiah, is that when you speak through the purity of your heart and mind, then infinite intelligence is speaking through you. When you speak through the purity of your heart and your mind, then infinite intelligence is speaking through you. That's why I started off with that verse from Isaiah. I'll read the entire verse to you. It says, "For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh bring forth and bud, so that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." So, spiritual warriors, let's get into a space here of quiet power, knowing ask you to repeat as you breathe slowly and deeply. I ask you to repeat the phrase, I am an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. I am an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. I am an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. That is the truth. We are infinite. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. It is a truth. The next statement to repeat. I know that infinite intelligence is expressing in me as me. I know that infinite intelligence is expressing in me as me. I know that infinite intelligence is expressing in me as me. These two statements are designed to integrate into your mind, into your thinking patterns, the truth of who and what you really are. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. What you say is very powerful. If you control what you say, if you don't chatter, 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 and dissipate your power, then your power builds, and you have a great deal of power through your word and through your thoughts. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. Know that. Know that. Know that without a doubt. And then thank infinite intelligence for bringing you this knowledge, for bringing you into this life. Thank infinite intelligence for bringing you into this space of awareness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing me into this life. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing me into this space of awareness. Thank you. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing me into this life. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing me into this space of awareness, so that I can feel your presence in me, in my life, so that I can feel your presence in me and in my life, so that I can feel your presence in me and in my life, as above, so below, as within, so without, and so it is. Amen. So see you tomorrow.